What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the latest Liverpool news video, and in this video we will talk about what Jamie Carragher said about Liverpool's pursuit of Jadon, Sancho and Timo Werner, what Liverpool should do in the summer transfer window, and also we have a massive injury update on Jordan Henderson and very important and interesting other Liverpool news, so make sure to stick around in this video. We will talk about a lot of different topics. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoy these types of videos, subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you never miss a future upload. And Jamie Carragher, after the Atletico Madrid game, was fairly critical of Liverpool's backup players, especially Divock Origi and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who both came on for Salah and Mane, saying that if Liverpool want to consistently challenge for trophies for the next 2 or 3 years, we need better backup players, better reserve players than Origi and Oxlade-Chamberlain on the wings, replacing Mane and Salah when they are tired, injured, suspended, whatever. And let me know, what do you think? Do you agree with Carragher here or not? And let's listen to what he said. And Jamie Carragher said this: things can change very quickly in the world of football. If you look at Tuesday night, the big problem for Liverpool is when one of those front three players are not playing. Sadio Mane had to come off, and the player they bring on is Divock Origi, who is a Liverpool legend because of what happened last year in the Champions League at the Wanda Metropolitano and also in the Barcelona semi-finals, but it's not quite good enough for the best team in the world to be bringing that quality in that Divock Origi has. He's referring to basically we can't rely on Origi to be a game changer, a player who comes in the biggest games in the Champions League and in the Premier League and who delivers, because you can rely on Salah, you can rely on Mane to deliver in the biggest games of the season. Can you do that with Divock Origi? I'm not sure. And this is what Carragher said: Liverpool do need a top attacking player to come in the summer. Jadon Sancho or Timo Werner, I will take both. Wow. So Jamie Carragher wants Liverpool to sign both players, or maybe he's saying that either of them comes in, he will take it. And I think that he's right. Both players would improve Liverpool's squad, not necessarily the starting 11, but the whole squad needs to be improved. And also Jamie Carragher is saying that there is no reason for any transfers to force exits at Liverpool. We have some players that could stay still as a squad players, but we need better and bigger strength in depth, because Liverpool might not get so lucky with injuries next season. This is what Jamie Carragher said, and I mean injuries to the front three players. If Salah, Mane or Firmino get a 3 or 4 month injury, Liverpool would be screwed. We honestly would lose out on so many points, in my opinion, because probably Origi and Oxlade-Chamberlain couldn't really replace the goals that Salah and Mane get, and also teams could play differently against us if that happens. And this is what Carragher said: they don't need to let anyone go, Liverpool. They just need to add to that squad that they have got. Don't forget, Liverpool never signed a player last summer who is a proper first team player, so you would think there's a lot of money there in the bank waiting to be spent. Jurgen Klopp is probably just waiting another year on, some players getting another year older, and then he can maybe refresh the squad. He gave Origi a new contract, so he couldn't go and buy an attacking player on the back of that, but now I think it's definitely the time for Liverpool to reinforce, certainly in the attack, to keep those three on their toes and to rotate them, play different systems. Also, you have to think of injuries, the Olympics where Salah could go, and the Africa Cup of Nations next season where Salah and Mane are definitely going, and they could miss 4, 5, even maybe 6 weeks in the middle of the season. It's almost certain Liverpool will buy a top attacking player. It's just who they will buy. So Jamie Carragher pretty much confirms that Liverpool are in the market for a top player, and Jamie Carragher's favorite and my favorite is Jadon Sancho. I think Liverpool can afford him. It's a realistic transfer. He wants to come back to the Premier League to show everyone how good he is, and also he probably wants to come home. Remember that he's just a young player abroad, missing his family, his friends, missing his life in England, but he had to make that move for his career, for the sake of his career. And Carragher actually believes that Jadon Sancho could turn out to be a similar player to Manchester City's Raheem Sterling. This is what he said. He's an English player who I think will be desperate to come back to England. So I think he will be the hottest prospect, the hottest thing everyone in the Premier League will be looking to bring in. Will he be a hit? I think so. It's a no-brainer. Look at how well he has played in a top league like the Bundesliga with the top club like Dortmund. Under pressure, he's playing week in, week out. His numbers are fantastic and his age is just perfect. And he can do it at the best stage, which is the Champions League. He scored against Barcelona in the Nou Camp. He terrorized the Paris Saint-Germain defense when Dortmund played them in the round of 16, and he is just getting better and better year on year. So even if Dortmund ask for £100 million, I think Jadon Sancho is worth it, because imagine if this kid becomes the next Raheem Sterling, what Jamie Carragher is saying, he would be worth 150 or maybe even 200 million in 3, 4, 5 years. And even if he wants to try his career out in Spain later, Liverpool could actually get a profit for him, even if we sign him for £100 million. And Jamie Carragher added, if you think about the development of Raheem Sterling at Manchester City, it feels like something similar could happen to Jadon Sancho. It feels like he could be the next Raheem Sterling in terms of 20 goals and maybe 15 assists every season. Sancho would be a superb signing, which is why he's being linked to all the big clubs. It might be a little bit difficult to convince the 19-year-old to come to Liverpool, because he will likely start on the bench for Liverpool. I'm not sure if he could start regularly ahead of Salah and Mane. But I think what we should say to Sancho is come to Liverpool, learn the way that Jurgen Klopp plays, maybe have a bit part role for the first like 6 months. Put pressure on Salah, put pressure on Mane, and when you are contributing with goals, with assists in the games that you play, sometimes you would get a start ahead of them. And I'm not saying that, you know, we should start Jadon Sancho regularly ahead of Salah and Mane. But in some games, I mean, we could rotate them. One game Salah starts, and the next game Sancho starts. Vice versa, or with Mane as well. Chelsea is also very, very serious about Jadon Sancho, and while Liverpool are a lot more attractive as a club, as a project, as where Liverpool are right now, Chelsea can offer something to Jadon Sancho that Liverpool probably can't right now, and that is an absolute guaranteed, set in stone starting 11 place. What's more important for Jadon Sancho? Join a club where he will guaranteed be fighting for the Premier League title straight from the start of his Premier League career, fight for winning Champions Leagues, or he wants to go to a club where he can play every week and probably help Chelsea get back to the top of European football. And I don't know Jadon Sancho, so I'm not sure what kind of character he is, which club or which challenge would he enjoy the most. But it has to be very attractive for Jadon Sancho to come to Liverpool, because at the moment Liverpool are probably everyone's second favorite club, who are not in the Premier League, of course, because of Jurgen Klopp and the way Liverpool play and everything surrounding the club. There is just such a feel-good factor, such a great feeling surrounding Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp was asked about Jordan Henderson's hamstring injury, and Jurgen Klopp actually said that Jordan Henderson will only miss 3 weeks, and considering that, for example, Harry Kane is missing like 4 or 5 months with a hamstring injury, Jurgen Klopp admitted that even though 3 weeks is a bad injury, pretty bad for Jordan Henderson, Jurgen Klopp considers Liverpool and Jordan Henderson lucky that it's only 3 weeks, because it could have been much worse. It could have been a season-ending injury for Henderson. So he will probably miss the second leg against Atletico Madrid, and he will miss a few Premier League games. But I think that Liverpool can cope without Henderson. We have Fabinho, we have Wijnaldum, Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain. They are all fit, and even James Milner. So we have like 5 midfielders to choose 3 from. And what Jurgen Klopp also said is that Liverpool don't need to rotate the team much against West Ham, because we have like 5 or 6 days rest between the West Ham game and the next game in the Premier League, which I think is Watford probably, or is it Chelsea in the FA Cup? I'm not entirely sure, but the bottom line is that Jurgen Klopp will play their strongest lineup that possible in the West Ham game, and then we don't need to rest anybody for the next game as well, because we have almost a full week to prepare the next game. And also James Pearce, who used to work for the Liverpool Echo, and he's still very closely connected to Liverpool, confirmed Loris Karius' future. This is what he said: Loris Karius is set to return to Liverpool this summer. Besiktas don't have any intentions of triggering their option to buy him after the end of his loan spell, and the keeper is targeting a new challenge after a turbulent spell in Turkey, where he got criticized a lot, and Besiktas fans don't really like Karius. And I feel very sorry for Karius, because probably mentally, his mental health must have suffered a huge blow after the Champions League final. That was the biggest game of his career, and to make not 1 but 2 monumental errors in a Champions League final, I mean, it's incredibly tough, incredibly difficult mentally to recover from, and probably Loris Karius still has nightmares about that game years after it happened. So I think that he has no future at Liverpool, because Liverpool is not a charity. Liverpool are a professional football club. So Jurgen Klopp will do what's best for Liverpool FC, and that is keeping Adrian as the second choice goalkeeper, because Adrian is probably a better goalkeeper than Karius. Karius had potential, but after the Champions League final, it was pretty evident that he won't make it, and he will probably join a German or Spanish like mid-table side and play there. I think that Karius should go back to the Bundesliga and play for a club like Frankfurt, for example. That would be a good option for him, away from the limelight, away from the spotlight. And Jurgen Klopp was very, very adamant that Liverpool feel awful, feel very bad after the Atletico Madrid loss. He compared the situation to going from sunshine to the hardest rain and the harshest weather. And he also said that it will be a massive motivating factor as Liverpool aim to bounce back against West Ham on Monday, and I can't wait for that game. This is what Jurgen Klopp said: the West Ham game is to put things right. Not in the same competition. Yes, we lost the Atletico game, and there was absolutely no positive in it. We lost the game, but it's important, if there's any help in that result, that it was a defeat, and it felt like a defeat. It felt after the game like a defeat. It felt the next morning like a defeat. There was nothing, oh, but in the league we are like this. What we said after the game, it's not done yet. It's the truth, but it's not like we say, Anfield alone, we're sorted out. We have to put a proper performance in. Atletico showed obviously a lot of passion, desire, stuff like this for the result. They were fighting for the result 100%, but to put it right is to get the other feeling back. The other feeling I don't think we have lost, about how a win feels. We won a few games and now we lost once, but the difference is massive. It's much more than 3 points. It's really from sunshine to the hardest rain, and that's how it should be. If you really want to be successful, if you could be successful, if we could have been in that game, then it has to feel really bad. So yes, we have to put things right even when it's a different competition. And that's the kind of mentality that you want to see from the Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp. He's such a leader, and his words, I think, will galvanize Liverpool into a great performance against West Ham, of course, who are one of the worst teams in the Premier League. So Liverpool absolutely have to win that. Not just because we want to wrap up the Premier League title as early as possible, but because of morale, it would give Liverpool a big boost. And Brendan Rodgers spoke out about the possibility of him being awarded a Premier League title retrospectively for the 2013-14 season because of Manchester City breaching financial fair play rules, and that's still a possibility. The Premier League will wait until the Court of Arbitration for Sport concludes its appeal process and the investigation and everything. And I think that it's very interesting what Leicester City boss, current boss, Rodgers, who of course was the Liverpool manager at the time, said, it's gone really, what will be, will be. That's what Rodgers said at his pre-match press conference yesterday. It won't change anything for me. We were up against a fantastic Manchester City team that season and we just fell a little bit short, but it doesn't take away from what we did that year. I don't overthink it. I have many other things to worry about. I can't see that, to be honest. He's referring to being awarded a Premier League title. But Steven Gerrard and Rodgers and everybody who talked about this topic are hinting, and I'm reading between the words, between the lines, they would love to see it happen, even though it wouldn't feel like a proper title win. Still, Brendan Rodgers and Steven Gerrard, if they look back on their career, if they could say that they were Premier League champions, even if it's retrospectively awarded to them because Manchester City cheated. I said this numerous times. In athletics, if one runner who wins the race is found to be performing under performance enhancing drugs, he uses those drugs and he cheats, and that's why he wins the race, even though that runner probably worked as hard as the other was. The reason why he won the race is because of cheating, and Manchester City won the title because of cheating. Without financial fair play, cheating the rules, they wouldn't have been able to build a squad as strong as that Man City team was, and beating Liverpool by just 2 points to the title. I wouldn't be against, of course, Liverpool getting awarded to a Premier League title, but I would say this if it was another team. I want all the Manchester City opposition who played against them in cup finals to get awarded the trophies as well, because they deserve it. Manchester City got there with cheating, and I think all the titles that they won will be forever tainted. And I think that even if Guardiola says that they worked very hard and his conscience is clear, that they did everything every day to win those titles, that's true, but still the cheating enabled Manchester City to build an incredibly strong squad, the strongest squad in world football, and that's just not right. When Manchester City have a stronger and bigger squad than Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Liverpool, Manchester United, I could go on and on saying that all the other big clubs who are a lot richer than Manchester City, who have a much bigger fan base than Manchester City, there is no way that Man City could afford that squad and those wages, those transfer fees. Every single player in the Manchester City squad who is not a youth academy player cost at least 25-30 million pounds. Some of them cost 50 million pounds, and that it just doesn't feel right to me. And that's what I ultimately wanted to get across in this point of mine that I wanted to say. Jens Lehmann, who was the goalkeeper of the Arsenal Invincibles team in the 2003-2004 season where Arsenal went unbeaten, he said that Arsenal had plenty of luck in that campaign, and Liverpool are also getting plenty of luck. Luck has played a role in Liverpool getting to this point of the season unbeaten, but that's just a fact. You can't win or you can't go unbeaten for so many games without getting a little bit lucky because the competition is so strong. This is what Lehmann said. Liverpool is an amazing story. All the ingredients are there for them to become the invincible champions. They are a fantastic team, really well organized, and also sometimes a little bit lucky. But that isn't a criticism. At times we at Arsenal were lucky as well, and I am a believer that you have to work hard to earn your good fortune. Now they have the chance to become invincibles, and I think the only team that can stop that happening now is Manchester City. So he's saying that if Man City don't beat Liverpool, then no other team will. I still think that Liverpool could lose some games. If we go far in the FA Cup, in the Champions League, and we win the league early, then Liverpool will probably rest some players in the Premier League games. And that's where I think Liverpool could slip up, or maybe the concentration levels will drop a little bit. That's just human nature, but I really hope that Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool can keep it up until the end of the season and win the Premier League while going unbeaten, because then this team and Jurgen Klopp would become immortal in football history, and that would be just beautiful to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.